Sheila, it's season 2 of Serious and Silly. We need an awesome intro for all our amazing guests this year.
Oh my God, you're totally right, Scott. What do you got in mind?
How about this? Serious and Silly with Scott and Sheila.
I don't like it. Let's just cut to the episode.
Welcome back, everyone. Season 2, Serious and Silly with Scott and Sheila. Very special guest today. As part of our Black History Month and Diversity Month celebrations, we have one of our the guests. We first met this guest at our leadership retreat, actually, on January 13th and 14th, and we were so impressed that we just had to have him back because his message was just so wonderful. The old expression, Sheila, is you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And this man, after listening to what he said, I can guarantee you he's part of the solution. He's the chief of police for the agglomeration of Longueuil, which also means our wonderful campus on Saint-Lambert. Welcome to Serious and Silly, Chief Fady Dagher.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Thank you.
Chief Fady, when we had you on, you told us you're of Moroccan descent.
No. I'm Lebanese descent.
Lebanese descent.
Yes, was born and raised in Ivory Coast, so West Africa. So I know more the Black community than my own Lebanese community.
So tell us how someone comes from, Lebanon and ends up being the chief of police for the agglomeration of Longueuil. Quite the road.
Well, I was like I say, I was born and raised in Ivory Coast, and I used to go to Lebanon every summer. When I came to Montreal, it was in 1985. It was to study and then go back to Ivory Coast, take care of my father's business. But it didn't happen. I fell in love with the police officer that came inside my office in my store. I used to have a store on the Gracious Cap store for glasses on St. Catherine and Peel downtown. He came in, bought some glasses. I look at his uniform, he impressed me. I was like, wow, it looks like it's nice what you're doing. He said, why don't you come? He told me, why don't you come patrol with me? I said, really? Wow. I can patrol with you. I said, yeah, come on. So a few days later, we went for one evening shift. We went to answer 911 calls, and that's it. It was from there. It was history. I loved it, fell in love, and it's been 30 years.
And of course, the Montreal winters, right? You were like, "Oh man, I need to have this every year."
Look at my background. I'm not used to it. Look, I'm in Africa somewhere.
Yes, as a patrol officer, which you started off at, I can imagine on those cold days it was extra hard to get out of the car and do your work.
It was tough. I all my admiration to all those cops works the day, evening, night, 7 on 7. It's not easy.
So, Chief Dagher, we have a question to ask you, and one of the main reasons we brought you on the show is, of course, to talk about this amazing project you started. I was reading an article, and they called it the Revolution of New Police. It was an immersive training program where you sent some of your officers into the community. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I sent 30 officers in the community during 5 weeks. I asked them to take off the uniform, to be in civilian clothes, and not a gun on them, so no armed. People thought that would not work, but I had more than 120 volunteers.
Wow.
To go spend the time with the community. And you have to understand, that wasn't on calls. So they have 5 weeks, day and evening, even sometimes the weekends. And they used to spend time with the family inside the house, going to do on a daily basis routine of the family. Used to go to school with the kids to see how they behave in school. Used to go to the shopping centers. Used to go to the grocery with the family to understand the reality of the family, what they're going through on a daily basis. Because our police officers, including me, when we go on a 911 call, this is not the time to try to build bridges. We go on an emergency call. It's very tough, very difficult. And to be able to intervene in a safe way, we don't have the time to talk too much. During immersion, you have 5 weeks. So you have hours and hours. You go have dinner in the family. So all my cops went to have dinner inside the houses and spend, they were supposed to stay with those families, immigrant families, refugee families, autism with the kids who have autism. They would spend evening with them. And instead of staying with them from 6 to 9 o'clock, the end of the shift was 9 o'clock, he used to write and send messages and emails to me around 1 o'clock in the morning. They were still inside the house.
Wow.
Because they were building bridges with the families. So that was for me a way to approach the community and to make understand the community was the police work, and also for the police officer to understand what the community is about, the community. And honestly, when people talk about racial profiling, systemic racism, or systemic discrimination, to be honest with you, after 30 years in the police office as a police officer, there's no better training than this, because you're not sitting in the class and listening to a teacher. You're inside the kitchen of a family and you're cooking with them the dinner. You're going to the grocery with them. So you build the trust between each other. And it was a great success. And every year, it's going to be 60 cops a year. They're going to be going to that training. And every 5 years, they have to go back to that immersion program.
That's amazing. Yeah, just a quick follow-up. Why did you think that was important, and what made you come up with this idea? It's just amazing.
Well, I think we are losing the trust, the legitimacy between the cops and the community. It's becoming more and more fragile, and any little incident, the trust is, we are losing that trust between the community. And you have to be really careful. I just mentioned to you that I came from Ivory Coast and from Lebanon, those two countries. Where those two countries, the police department, it's very badly respected. The legitimacy of the cops is not there. So the community, the population doesn't trust them. For all kind of reasons, corruption, all kind. Well, I don't want this to happen in Montreal. I love the city, Montreal, Longueuil, Laval, the big agglomeration, and I find that this is something that I don't want this to happen in Quebec City. I'm scared that we are losing the trust between us and the community. That's why I wanted to build those bridges between the cops and the community. But to be very clear, you can sometimes, but it's very limited. You cannot do it during a normal operation when you work in uniform. It's very hard. So this is why I walk a lot. I still live in Montreal and I work in Longueuil. So I walk from Montreal, from Ville-Saint-Laurent to Longueuil, 4 hours and a half to go, 4 hours and a half to come back. In the winter. So the idea came when I was walking. It was a spiritual moment, and I was thinking about what can we do to build more trust between the community and us, and vice versa. And it came during the walk.
Wow. Well, I think you're doing incredible work. And I'm so happy to hear about a project like this. When I spoke to my partner about it after, he really couldn't believe that this was happening. So that's incredible. Thank you very much for doing that. And I wanted to follow up with you because you did mention systemic racism. So while reading, all of your fascinating life and the work that you've been doing with and for marginalized communities, you mentioned that systemic racism is present. So I wanted to kind of ask you, why do you feel it is important to take the stance and communicate this issue out there?
Well, Mr. O'Brien just mentioned before, I'd rather be part of the solution. Because to be honest with you, to put your head in the sand and say, no, nothing's happening. Listen, my own three kids, I give them names, more European names, to give them equality chances to be able to succeed. So think about it. This is my kids. I wasn't able to give them an African name or a Lebanese name just to be able to fit in. So just to show you how much there is systemic discrimination all over. And I like to insist on not only the racism, but the discrimination at large. It happened to homosexual, it happened to people with lower income, it happened to homeless people. So this is an issue that, we can continue to cross the arms and say, no, it's not happening. Or try to get an apartment equally with anybody else when you're an immigrant. Try to get a job, put 2 resumes, take out the name of the title. Don't put any name, just give those 2 resumes. Put 2 names, Tremblay, and you're going to see who's going to be the one passing, Tremblay or Dagher. I don't know. So, it is important for me because this is a country, this is a province, and those cities are receiving more and more immigrants. You know that Montreal, I just checked some statistic recently. I was looking at some statistic. 56% of Montreal is immigrants.
Mm.
Wow.
So the minority is the French Quebecers.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the majority.
Yep.
So for me, there's no way if we don't get together and try to speak very loud about what's going on, we're going to have disasters happening more and more often.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Fady, on that one. You actually did bring up another point regarding discrimination that's just general. So during our I-Lead leadership retreat, summit, many topics were brought up regarding not judging people by their race, their ethnicity, their sexual orientation. And you actually brought up the notion that we shouldn't be judging our officers like that as well, painting all officers with the same brush, correct? So I wanted to ask if you can speak a little bit more about that.
What the minority visible community, including me, we don't understand is the police officers are also minority visible. Wearing the uniform, you see us coming from a little while, for miles, and you don't call 911 when everything goes well.
No.
You call 911 with the disaster when things are going really bad. We're not like the fire department. We're not heroes. We're here sometimes. We can save life. We are heroes, but sometimes we have to arrest people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it is true. What's worried me is when an incident happened, right away the community put all the cops in the same basket.
Yeah.
And immersion program is made also for that, for the community to understand what's the job of a cop.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this really worries me because when the majority of the community is starting to say that all cops are the same, it's like I'm saying all Black people are the same. It's like I'm saying all Arab people are the same. Hello, when it happened 11 September 2001, 911, well, suddenly all Arab people are terrorists. And me with this barb, I would be the cousin of Bin Laden. I'm like, hello, no, I'm not a terrorist. I'm a Lebanese person. I'm respectable. Respect me for who I am. Same thing for the cops. It doesn't mean because the cop will put his knee on George Floyd that we have 4,000 cops in the province of Quebec doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
All our cops, I'm telling you, to be honest with you, we were disgusted by what George Floyd went through. We were like, oh my God, never we learned that technique in Quebec. In the police academy, we never learned that technique. The knee on the neck, it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes people talk about body cameras that will help the police work and the trust with the community. Well, you know what? That cop was filmed during 8 minutes. It didn't stop.
Yeah.
So you have to change the culture inside the police, but you have to change the perception of the community have about the police also. We're not all the same.
Mm-hmm.
And don't forget, the cops in the state, some of the state, to become a cop, you know how long it takes? 90 hours.
Wow.
32 weeks, and you were gone. In the province of Quebec, it takes 3 years from the CEGEP, plus 4 or 5 months in the academy.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about professional. It doesn't mean we're not going to make any mistake. We're going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But we are a completely different approach with the cops from the state.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you very much to bring up those points, Fady. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's some great points there. And I think the other thing that really strikes me with Chief Dagher is just how honest you are with your answers. And I think that also goes a long way to building trust. You're not coming on the web series today and just spinning off, you know, clips. You know, you're really honest and truthful. And I think when people have honest and truthful discussions, it goes a long way. But Chief Dagher, the show is called Serious and Silly, so we do have a silly question for you. Off air, we got to talk about Sheila's chickens a little bit, so we really have to have Chief Dagher back, Sheila, because he seems to have a wonderful sense of humor, and we didn't really get a chance because we have such important topics to talk about. But Chief Dagher, as we mentioned, Sheila lives in the agglomeration of Longueuil, one of the towns you police. And recently, our wonderful colleague Sheila got a speeding ticket. So I want to ask you, I know that you can't do anything about the ticket or the points. We've accepted that, but it's really worn on Sheila that you know that she had done this. I'm wondering, as chief of police, can you give her kind of like a little bit of forgiveness, or you know, or some sort of like, you know. And she promises that she will drive safely again for the rest of her life.
I do, I promise.
Well, what happened, Sheila? What kind of ticket you got?
I was just driving extremely fast. I thought I was going in a 50. I thought I was in a 100 zone. I was actually in a 50 zone, and I was going about like I was going about 100. It was really bad. So I lost, like, I don't want to say in case my partner's parents are watching me, but I lost like 10 points, and my ticket was like a lot of money. So yeah, it was my fault. And I don't know. Yeah, it was my fault completely.
How was my cop?
He was nice. I mean, he had to give me the ticket. It's totally normal. He was very respectful. So it was good. It was fine. Yeah.
But do you know what's the rule for the speeding ticket? When you limit of 50, I gotta be honest with you. I think it's like as soon as you pass 40 more than the 50, which is 90, you lose almost everything, huh?
Yeah, he told me that was the first thing he said. He's like, do you know how fast you're going? And I could impound your car right now, and you can lose your life. Yes. Right now. And I was like, I came home, I was crying. I was so emotional. Like, I can't believe it happened. But I know he was very kind. So if you are training them, you're doing a great job.
For once, I'm receiving compliments. I'm happy. I will tell my cops. But to be honest with you, when you reach over 40 the limit, yes, you're right. You lose a car. You lose a lot.
Yeah, it's really, really bad.
So Chief Dagher, I know you can't do anything about the ticket, but as chief of police, can you forgive Sheila for her actions so that she can move on with her life and live the good quality life that she's living?
Well, it all depends if she gives me some eggs from those chicken.
Oh yes, you will be getting a dozen eggs. They're laying a little bit low because it's the winter right now, but as soon as they're in full production, you're first on their list.
Let me know. I will be there.
Well, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. My final question, guys, to kind of reach out to our students, because we have, you know, amazing students that are going to be listening. You're a leader, and you're an amazing leader. And what is a message that you can tell our youth in our community about being a leader in their own communities?
Well, I will say, give, be a giver and not a taker. So give without expectation. I will say also, have some courage. It's gonna take you some courage to go through a lot of steps in your life. Patience, please be patient. And the new generation, I have 3 kids in the 20s, and I keep looking at them, and they're amazing talent, but they want everything from yesterday. And I keep telling them, be patient, it's gonna happen, it's gonna come. But to be honest with you, I'm not that patient also, but I'm trying to teach them that. I also talked to them about the trust in yourself, trust in your partners, trust in the community with who you're working. You have to be able to trust. You can't do it alone. You have to do it as a team. Anything you want to do, you have it as a team. And resilience, but resilience for the young kids, they don't really understand. Life will show them what resilience is about. But be resilient, and at the end, It sounds maybe stupid, or maybe it sounds like a priest, but it's very honest what I'm telling you. Forgiveness.
Mm.
Forgive. If you want to be able to go through life, people are going to hurt you anyway. So if you don't forgive, it's going to be long. It's going to be a long path. A lot of people hurt me, a lot, and still today they're still hurting me. But you know what? I keep forgiving because I will be able to go through. You know, if you keep everything inside and your anger, you're not going to be able to succeed in life. So forgive, give you a chance to sleep at night, even to snore, and then you're going to be able to go through life. So to forgive people is a very important point for me.
Okay. Oh my.
There you go, Sheila. See, he forgives you.
He forgives me.
But there's a price. There's a price.
Yeah.
Chicken.
All it takes is just organic free range eggs, guys. That's all it takes. Wow, amazing words, amazing advice. I'm gonna hold you to this, because at the retreat you had mentioned that when the schools open up again, that you would be coming to Champlain and gracing us with your presence. So we will definitely be honored to have you on campus with us.
It would be a pleasure. I'm telling you, you guys are one of the schools in my district. I will take care of you.
That's so sweet. That's so nice. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Chief Dagher. As you can see, you're not in your uniform, so you're taking time out from your busy schedule. I'm sure you're working very, very long days right now, so we cannot thank you enough for first participating in the Leadership Summit, which our students were so impressed by you, and of course, for appearing today on Serious and Silly. So thank you very much, and you always have time at Champlain College anytime you need us.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, and bonne continuation.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you for what you guys are doing for the kids, for young generation. They need good mother. You think I am a mother, but also you guys, the teachers department, you have no idea how much influence you have on those kids. So thanks to you.
Amazing. Have a great day, everybody.
You too. Bye-bye.